What's up, YouTubers? Monte Carlo's back in the garage. Yeah, we had some engine problems. Broke a valve spring, and it actually broke in 3 pieces here. Fortunately, I was driving, and it did make contact with the piston. I'll show you a picture of that damage when I'm done talking here. It just left a little ding in the top of the piston, so hopefully nothing got hurt down below that, and we can put it back together and not have a problem. Now, I bought these heads rebuilt from a place down in Texas, and I'm not going to badmouth them because they were really good about the warranty. They didn't even question it. They sent me a new head. When they rebuild their heads, they do the seals and seats and stuff, but they don't replace the valve springs. It's not uncommon. So they're used valve springs when you get these rebuilt heads back, and unfortunately, that meant that we broke one. This one right here. And you take that chance of injuring your motor when that happens. So hopefully it didn't hurt the bottom end, like I said. And they sent me a new head. I don't trust the stock valve springs anymore, though. So I ordered some valve springs from Summit. The Summit Tech line. Those guys are fantastic. They're really good. I've called them multiple times for different things, especially when it comes to the internals of an engine, because I don't necessarily always know exactly what I'm looking for. So I called them, told them what we were working with, and they recommended a set of valve springs from Comp Cams. So that's what I ordered. I swapped them out on the new head before I put it in the car. The other head that stayed on the engine that I didn't take off, I'm going to swap those out as well, but I need to make a little air fitting to put in the spark plug hole to pressurize the cylinder so that so it keeps the valves up when I go to put the springs on. And I'll show you when we get to that part. Alright, so torquing the head down, that's always fun. Small block Chevy is 65 foot-pounds, so I already did 25 and 45, and now we're on to 65 for the last go-around. You do it in a circular pattern starting from the center. Last one. Whew. Good times. Now we can push. Yeah. Now we can put the rockers and push rods in before I put the intake on. Alright, I'm getting ready to pressurize the cylinder over here and do these valve springs, but I wanted to show you what I've got here. So I was digging through my stuff and I found this, dumped the antifreeze on the ground. I found this 3-way in my toolbox when I was digging through, and then with some other pieces and stuff from my dad's in the local hardware store, we made this little piece here with the valve which hooked to my air line. So I want to be able to regulate the air going into the cylinder. So what's in the cylinder is a piece of my compression tester. I took the air fitting out of it so air can go this way. And then coming up here, I've actually got the other part of my compression tester so I can see how much pressure we're putting into the cylinder. Now, it shouldn't be that much because, I mean, I'm going to try 60 pounds first. That should be enough to hold the valves up for what I'm going to do. if you don't have a compression tester, I've seen guys break off a spark plug and weld pieces. You take the ceramic out of it, hollow it out, and just take the piece of plug that screws in. I've seen them take that and then weld the fitting onto that and do the same thing with a valve and a gauge, which would be the cheaper route, but I have a compression tester, so why wouldn't I do that? So now we're gonna pressurize it and see what happens. All right, so what we got here, I got about 75 PSI on it. Got the little tool on here, pull it down. I did just drop that, but it's right here, luckily. Take this off. Grab a new spring, set it back on there. Sorry, my arm's in the way there. You can't quite see what I'm doing, but be careful not to lose your keepers. That one in. And voila, just like that. And you drop the nut on the floor. There you go. That's one valve spring out. Or, well, two changed, this one and this one. All right, all the valve springs are now on. Both sides. Now, I made the mistake of putting the carburetor on before I had them all on, so I end up having to switch and use this style of spring compressor over this style. I use these on the front ones and back ones, but I had to use this in the center. If the carb wasn't on, I could have did them all with that, and that's way easier than this. But they both work, so. Now we gotta put the valve covers on. I can put a header on the other side, hook up some electrical and fuel lines and whatnot, and then we can start it up. Well, she's good. Back together, running. Oil pressure was good, temp was good. I just went for a drive and everything seems pretty good. Smoking out the back a little more than I'd like. You can't even really tell on the camera, but back to burn up. Well, so far so good. Alright, so I guess the moral of the story is don't be a cheapskate. If you buy rebuilt heads and they come and they've got used valve springs on them, drop the 70 bucks and buy a set of valve springs. It's just your safest bet. I mean, if you're throwing them on a tired old, used bottom end, you're probably fine, but I was putting them on a fresh bottom end with an RV cam and flat top pistons, so I don't know, maybe I was asking for it, but new springs are on and everything seems to be working well. Got plenty of power, no knocking, no ticking, no stuff that shouldn't be happening other than a little bit of smoke out the back, but, well, that beautiful Camaro back there. We're going to start working on that again here real soon, especially if the monte stays together. That's really what's been holding me up, is that monte. With all the motor trouble and stuff I've been having with it. I should probably sell it. As much as I love it, I should probably sell it. I got way too many projects, but as usual, keep it creative and happy building.